1927, where a Great Britain team arrived by boat to play in Massachusetts at the Worcester Country Club. Originally, the competition comprised of 4 foursomes and 8 singles, with 4 balls not introduced until 1963. In the first 22 editions, when it was just Brits and Irish against the US, established, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Home advantage is a big deal. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012, and America hasn't won on European soil since '93 at the Belfry. It's accepted that both teams tailor their home courses to suit their own players. For example, in Paris in 2018, Thomas Bjorn asked for the rough to be kept extra long beyond the green to target the big booming American drives. 10 years earlier, Paul Azinger did the opposite, and the Valhalla rough was trimmed right down. On both occasions, the home side were resounding winners. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by €262 million. In the US, the PGA America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million. But no Ryder Cup revenue has ever gone directly to individual players. That's until now. In 2025, for the first time ever, the US team will each receive a fee for playing in New York. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the sheer thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
Scott's been in touch, Barry.
Oh.
Welcome, everybody, by the way. Nice of the newsreader to call you Sam. Great start.
Yeah, I thought I noticed that.
Do you think he thought I was... I mean, Max, Scott and I have history.
You do?
One, in the sense that I don't want another Max. You know, he started hosting shows, and I'm not interested in not being the best Max at the radio station, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, like... But even before that, there was a time where I called him Matt, I think for about an hour and a half.
I think it was longer than that.
I don't think it could have been... It can't have been the whole 2 hours.
I think he may have called him Matt for several weeks.
So, do you think he's trying to get me back, or do you think he thinks that I'm Sam Matterface?
I think he perhaps knew he was about to throw to Sam Ellard.
That's true.
At the cricket.
Yeah.
So Sam Ellard was uppermost in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's face, Sam Ellard is uppermost in all of our minds.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wake up and I think, how is Sam Ellard? Then I think about my wife and my children.
Yeah, I wake up and I think about Sam Ellard.
Yeah.
And what's going on in his life.
Yeah.
And I don't have a wife or children,
No.
so I just keep thinking about Sam Ellard all the time.
How many pictures of Sam Ellard do you have in your house? Do you have a Sam Ellard room?
I have a Sam Ellard shrine.
Okay. Do you have a sort of puppet, like a papier-mâché Sam Ellard?
Well, I have a sock Sam Ellard
Okay, of
that
course.
I put on my hand and then I talk to it over breakfast.
Does
we
he-
have
Does he?
quite back and forth.
Do
It's
you?
top-tier banter, man.
Does he? When you're talking to Sock Sam Ellard,
Sock puppet Sam Ellard.
when you're talking to Sock Puppet Sam Ellard, does he just do cricket updates, or does it go?
No,
does it go beyond that?
He's well. If I need, it's cheaper than having Alexia. I
Yeah,
don't
of
go,
course.
Alexia, how many more runs do England need? I just go, sock puppet Sam Ellard. I put him on over my arm, and I go, how many runs? What's the chase now, Sam? And he tells me.
That's right.
But he often gets it wrong because it's not really Sam Ellard. It's me pretending
I
to be him.
understand. You're doing the actions with your hand because there's no one else there. You're doing the voice.
Yeah.
So is that Irish?
He's got
is
little table tennis ball eyes.
Yeah. Okay, good. And do you do an impression of him, or is it your voice? So it's kind of Irish sock puppet Sam Ellard. Is that what you have?
Sam O'Ellard.
Sam O'Ellard giving false cricket updates.
Yeah. It's like, what's the chase now, Sam?
Yeah.
Well now, Barry, let me tell you now.
But quite often it's first thing in the morning, so the cricket hasn't started. So it's a kind of
But
short...
I still need to know what the chase... I'm going to the Oval this afternoon,
Of course
as
you
I've
are.
already mentioned.
Yeah.
Dashing off as soon as we're finished. So we won't have the usual 2-hour debrief.
No, of course.
What went right, what went wrong, who should we fire. I should dash off, hopefully be at the Oval by 2:30.
Right.
And I'd like England to sort of slow things down, really, at the minute.
Right.
What do they need? You
they
see,
need a lot
where's
of money.
sock
They need-
puppet Sam now? I have to do some sums here.
Will you be taking sock puppet?
93.
They need 300 odd. They need like
Three-
280 to win.
280.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 wickets in hand.
So I need them to slow things down so that I get more bang for my buck this afternoon.
Right, okay. But if you get a couple of hours there, then you can just take sock puppet Sam to the pub, can't you?
I can.
Will you take him to the cricket? It seems unnecessary there, doesn't it?
I don't have him with me.
Do you know?
No.
Okay. You're travelling light.
He's confined to barracks.
Should Eddie Jones is our next guest. Should we ask him if he has a sock puppet friend or not?
I wouldn't do that.
You don't
No,
think so?
No.
Yeah, I think he might do. You never know. We might. You have to ask these questions.
Sometimes we have people on who we're about to interview, and I get slightly anxious about
Okay.
it.
What are you anxious about with
Well,
Eddie?
I haven't interviewed Eddie Jones before, but I have been at several press conferences where Eddie Jones was answering questions or not answering questions, as the case may be.
Yeah, but the move.
I think Eddie could be hard work.
Okay.
Right, I'm not going to say that to his face. I hope he's not listening.
He's probably
now.
on the Zoom already. But it's different when you're the manager to when you're just a pundit. You have to change, don't you? That's the lot of the ex-pro.
But you see, I'm not a massive rugby fan.
No.
But I watch tests, I watch Ireland games, and I hate the Lions. Right. I know talkSPORT had the rights, but the Lions tour is now over. I think I'm allowed to say
you are, yes.
I don't like the Lions.
Fine.
I think it's excessively and very well marketed nonsense.
Right.
And you hear all about this mystique of Lions tours past and how Ian McGeechan gave a powerful speech once.
He did. It was a good one.
60 years ago. And maybe it was a powerful speech. I think it was just quite a bog standard speech with loads of F's and Jeffs slung into it.
Dermot says, what in the 103-degree fever dream is this start? Jason says, you do sound a bit like Sam Matterface, to be honest. I always look forward to the footballer game. Great show every Sunday. Smiley face. Maybe I'll become the voice of Dancing on Ice. It's possible, isn't it? If we're looking for topics to fight the yips, says Dan, the Newcastle fan, can we mention Cambridge City? Not United have a player manager this season, registered as a player, turns 50 this year. Yeah, Jamie Curitan is the Cambridge City manager.
Jamie Curitan, 50.
He's 50, yeah.
Wow.
That shows you're getting on, doesn't it?
Well, I'm 52.
Yeah.
I'm only slightly older than
You're
Jamie
slightly
Curitan.
older than Jamie. Who are you slightly older than? Is that what we're doing? 8, 10, 89? You are. It's true. You are. It's interesting because you're slightly older than Jamie Curitan, and I'm slightly younger than Jamie Curitan, but we're all in the same ballpark, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's played more games and scored more goals than us. Hi, Max and Barry. It's Gaz, the Wolves fan from Telford. I'd love to play Guess the Attendance. I had a cameo on Guess the Attendance last summer. Question is, am I famous enough? I used to be a full-time rave MC, and I won the Golden Glow Stick Award for Best MC in 2011. Does this qualify me as famous enough to Guess the Attendance's live on air?
Golden Glow Stick Award. So he's a rave MC, not a DJ. He's an MC.
What does that mean?
Hype man, I reckon.
A hype man for the rave?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
if you weren't up for the rave.
Yeah. If you were like indifferent to going to the rave but ended up at one anyway. Gaz, the Wolves fan from Telford.
He's like the warm-up. He's like the warm-up for, Strike It Lucky.
Yeah.
To get them really in the zone before Barrymore really took you home. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll have a warm-up man.
I know
rave.
somebody who got sacked as the warm-up man for Deal or No Deal.
For what? Not being good enough? Did Noel Edmonds sack him?
I don't know who sacked him. I'd imagine it was probably at Noel Edmonds' behest.
Do you think when he got sacked very quickly and they handed him a box of belongings? He had to walk home.
Red box.
I think we have to go to the cricket. Sock Puppet Sam Ellard is there for talkSPORT. What's going on, Sam?
Well, every time a wicket's going to fall, Max, I'm going to think of poor Barry rocking up for the afternoon session and saying less and less cricket, because England have lost their second wicket of the day. It's their third wicket in the innings. 106 for 3. Mohammad Siraj bowling a ball to Ollie Pope that comes back in. It comes back in quite hard. It hits him on the pad, given out on field. It looked pretty straight. England have reviewed it. We're checking ultra edge. It's hitting the pad, so there's no bat in it. We're now going to wait and see if it's missing the stumps. I mean, to me, that looked pretty straight indeed. Are we going to see a red light? Yeah, the ball's hitting the top of middle stumps. So Ollie Pope's got to go for 27. Mohammad Siraj has his second wicket of the innings. Ollie Pope has to go for 27. The first wicket to fall today was Ben Duggan for 54. Joe Root's 8 not out. Harry Brook will now come to the crease. England needing 374 to win this match. It'd be their second highest chase and a record at the Oval. Pope goes, England 106 for 3.
Hey Sam, when do you think they'll just shut up shop and try and bat out the day?
Never.
No. So this is going to be tricky now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was tricky. It was sort of, the wind viz, the kind of data that adds it all up. Had India, before a ball was bowled today, sort of 80% favourites, losing 2 wickets in the first hour or so. And also, don't forget, England are going to be a batter down as well, because there's no Chris Wokes. So effectively 4 down. Yeah, 268 runs needed. This is massively in India's favour. But if England have got any chance of getting anywhere near to the target, this here, Root and Brook, the 2 best batsmen of the crease, is going to be the key partnership for sure.
Thank you, Sam. Sam Allard there at the Oval. It is Max and Barry here on the warm-up. And Eddie Jones will join us in just a second. Look back at the Barry's favourite, the British and Irish Lions, tour of Australia.
series over. The British and Irish Lions win the series, though. It might be disappointment on the night. It's certainly not on the series. British and Irish Lions win the series 2-1.
So the third game in the series, Australia winning it 22-12 against the British and Irish Lions. That's how it sounded on talkSPORT. It's Max and Barry with you until 2. Let's speak to Eddie Jones, former England and Australia coach, about it. Eddie, thanks for your time this afternoon. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for coming on. Really, the Lions got this the wrong way round, didn't they? They needed the second test to be the third test, and then there'll be this reflected glory in how they won it at the death.
Yeah, but, the series is about winning, and, they had the series won after 2 tests, and the third test was always going to be difficult for them. I think, they'd probably celebrate a bit. Australia's got still plenty to prove, and, in front of a big crowd in Sydney, and with the conditions made the game really, I think, difficult for the Lions to get into. And so they were beaten pretty soundly in the end in the third test.
Eddie, even though they lost the series, how big a win is this for Australia? Because Australia, the rugby union team, they're fairly low down the sporting pecking order, I think, are they?
Yeah, no, it puts Australian rugby back on the back page, and they got 90,000 to the second test, 70,000 and the odd thousand for the third test, and having a good win like that, which is, there's a bit about the Australian identity, fighting hard when you're under pressure, digging in. Do a world of good for rugby in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, given how the second test went, are the Lions lucky to have won this series, or do you think the right team won it?
Well, I think, as you guys know, most sporting contests come down to 1 or 2 moments, and you've got to win those moments. And when you win those moments, you win the big games. And the Lions did some wonderful things at the end of the game in the second test and deserved to win.
Eddie, writing about the game in the Sunday Times today, Lawrence Delalio said that in the conditions, and you've mentioned the atrocious conditions yesterday, in those kind of conditions, it's often easier to play without the ball than with it. I don't really understand what he means by that. Could you perhaps elaborate?
Well, rugby is probably the most complicated game in the world. 15 players, so there's a lot of players out there. There's a contest every time you have the ball, and when it's as wet as it was, and it was seriously wet. Handling the ball is difficult, so you only want the ball down close to their try line. So in those conditions, sometimes you're better off not having the ball and just letting the opposition make the mistake. And as it was, the Lions made a lot of mistakes with the ball in hand, and gave the possession back to Australia, who were then able to put them down back the other end of the field.
Yeah. And Eddie, there was a lot of talk in the UK and in Ireland that if this Lions team had won the series 3-0, they would achieve legendary, almost mythical status. Having said that, if they had managed to scrape a win yesterday, I still wouldn't have been massively impressed with their achievement. Am I being too harsh a judge, or is winning 3 test matches that difficult?
I think winning 3 tests in a row is very difficult, because, again, rugby is a game where the physical intensity is so important, and if you don't meet the physical intensity at the start of the game, then it's really hard to chase that during the game. And, in 3 games on the bounce, it's very hard at the start of the game to win that physical intensity for the whole 3. And that's why, series in rugby particularly tend to go 2-1. It's very hard to win 3-0 unless there's a big discrepancy between the skill levels and the talent levels of the team.
Where do you put the Lions in the sort of the idea of the Lions tour compared to other international rugby World Cups, etc.? I'm not going to throw my co-host Barry under the bus here, but just before the break, he said the Lions is concocted marketing BS compared to other rugby, and I don't know if that's true. I mean, lots of people love it, but it is this kind of so much. It's sort of like, whimsical, powerful music and sort of everything with a dun 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 underneath, and then Ian McGeechan's speech. But is the actual rugby as good as, say, the World Cup?
Look, it's nowhere near as good, mate, but that's the difference of rugby. There is a bit of old world about rugby, the old leather patches, lasers, and the Lions paints all those pictures. You know, people save up for 12 years to go on a tour. You know, and it's this ceremony of the four nations coming together and playing and being able to beat the countries down under, and certainly I think it adds to the rugby calendar. And rugby is an event sport. You know, it's about big events. It doesn't have the same following week to week like you know, as you know, football does in England and in most countries. It's a big event. It's a big event game, and the Lions brings that to the calendar.
Eddie, you've never been coach of the Lions, and you've said you don't want to unless you've changed your mind in the meantime. But you have taken the Barbarians. I know that. Completely different thing, obviously. But how difficult is it to throw a rugby team together with all these different guys from different teams when you're just, you know, they turn up? How difficult is it to select your best team?
Well, I think one of the most difficult things about coaching the Lions would be that you've got guys who are major stars in all their own team, and they have major roles. And when you put those teams together, you know, players are going to have to play different roles, and it's the coaching staff's, you know, one of their major responsibilities is to get the players to understand they'll have to play a different role for this team, you know. And as you know, players like to do what they're good at, and you want the players to do what they're good at, but sometimes they have to change their roles for the benefit of the team. You know, we saw an English guy, Marcus Smith, who's been seen as one of the young superstars in the game, hardly play for the Lions. And, you know, one of the coaching skills is to make sure that he stays, you know, aligned with the team on the tour, and they seem to do that pretty well.
Why don't you want the gig, Eddie? It seems like a great gig. You only have to work about, a couple of weeks every few years. You get to pick a load of good players, and if you lose, you go, well, it's really hard to get all these big egos together.
I think, well, mate, you know, I'm Australian and I coached England, and I enjoyed coaching England, but I don't really have an aspiration to coach the Lions, because I think it belongs to someone from the Northern Hemisphere, you know, because of what we spoke about, the ceremony and the pomp of it and all that sort of thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Eddie, I think the Lions are planning on their next tour to go to New Zealand. Some people over here are saying they should go to maybe France instead. What would you make of that as an idea? France being like a powerhouse of world rugby at the moment.
Well, I think everyone's, you know, thinking about the commercial part of it, and obviously going to France, you know, the domestic competition there is the most popular domestic rugby competition in the world, and rugby's flying there. But I think, you know, again, one of the great things about the Lions is they do go every 12 years to South Africa, New Zealand, Australia. And in a lot of ways, you know, they're very important commercial tours for those three countries, which are all struggling commercially, and the Lions bring a lot of money into the rugby economy there. So I think it's important to keep that tradition going. And, you know, you can always play France in another situation if the need be.
And of all the fans, right, who are out in Australia now are the worst for, you know, just, you know, drinking their own business out of a shoe? Is it the Welsh, the English, the Scottish, the English, the Scottish, or the Aussies, Eddie?
All right, I reckon it'll be a photo finish, mate. They'll be going pretty hard at the end.
Get off the fence. Get off the fence, Eddie. Come on. Who's the worst? You think the English, Barry? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh, God. I'm not even the fans. I'm going players.
The players, all right.
They all give it a hammering, mate.
Oh, good stuff. Well, look, thanks for coming on, Eddie. Enjoyed your company.
Good
Cheers, pal.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie.
Eddie Jones there. Excuse me, who's been part of our coverage, and yeah, I think you were slightly lighter on your feelings about the Lions while we were chatting to Mr. Jones than before we were chatting to Mr. Jones.
Yeah, well, I'm of the view we've invited Mr. Jones onto our show.
We have,
and I don't want to be rude to Mr. Jones about this team he's been asked to talk about.
Yeah,
I mean, my feelings on the Lions are irrelevant. I can just choose not to watch the Lions on television, although I did.
Yeah.
And I can choose not to go all the way to Australia to drink lager out of a shoe.
Lager or something else.
The very worst of the home nation's fans.
Yeah, or something else yellow. Rob says, the speech you and Misery Guts Barry have mentioned was made by Jim Telfer.
Okay, yes.
Not Ian McGeechan.
Well, Ian McGeechan, I think, has done his speech. Yeah, it's Jim Telfer's. There's lots of speeches.
Yeah, there are.
Oh, there's so many myths and legends. Jeez, it's just rugby.
Light Switch says, who's this gravel-voiced jazz persona, Darth Vader chain-smoking, in a cave, 90-year-old blues-singing, raspy, frog-swallowed guy with the flu summoning crows in place of Max Rushden? Yeah, I do have a bit of... Do you know what? I'm absolutely
chesty.
I'm so desperate to cough, but we're in a different room and I don't know what the buttons do. I'm in the Barry Buttons situation. So I can't press the button. I want to break.
Just cough.
I can just break. I mean, it is natural, isn't it?
Just cough. No one's going to judge you.
This is vintage
Except
broadcasting at its best, like a young Wogan and Parky sharing anecdotes over a pint of bitter on a Sunday afternoon. So enjoyable. What life is all about, says Ryan in Lincoln. I'm slightly older than my younger brother, says this one. This text says, Barry's sock puppet Irish voice sounds like Pierce Brosnan in Mobland.
Yeah. I did eventually crack and watch Mobland. It is very good.
Ah, okay.
If you can get past the Pierce Brosnan's Irish accent.
Yes.
And who's this? Not James Doody. No, Helen Mirren's Irish accent.
Don't get your mirrors and your dentures muddled up.
Schoolboy.
There'll be a backlash.
I just
front
finished
page of the Mail
this morning. I finished Slow Horses.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
It's so good.
It's a great series.
It's so good.
It's really good.
And do you know what the best bit is?
Yeah.
I finished it before my week-long free trial with Apple TV is up.
Well done.
So I can now cancel and I've got it for free. I've stuck it to the man, Max.
This show is brought to you by Apple TV. Harvey says, just queued for a coffee behind Judy Murray at Cafe Nero at Heathrow Terminal 5. Not very interesting. Thought I'd let you know. P.S. I'm marginally younger than Judy. Go on then. We'll do the most famous person you've queued behind for a coffee. We'll do that for 10 minutes. 8:10:89 at Max Rushden, at Barry Glendenning. It is Max. Sorry, hang on a second. The bit if you're watching us, I know it's annoying for listeners to constantly talk about what's on the screen on your smart TV or your YouTube. It just says Max and Barry's bits, which seems slightly rude, doesn't it? Can I just confirm for the tape that both of us are fully dressed, and it's not a kind of OnlyFans situation. We're not trying to get more viewers than
if the price is right,
than White and Jordan by doing a blue version of the warm up. This is not the time or the place. I'm not doing what was that movie? You know. I
don't know.
You know the one. The one where those middle-aged men all stripped.
Oh, the Full Monty.
I was going to call it something totally different, which was deeply wrong. It's not the Full Monty, the talkSPORT Full Monty. Don't give management ideas. That would be God, what a show that would be. Can you imagine it? The lineup of the Full Monty talkSPORT style. Ooh, oh God, that's nice.
Who?
No, don't.
Who'd be a crowd pleaser in that? I don't know.
Absolutely nobody.
There's a few hunks on talkSPORT.
Do you think so?
There?
Who's the hunkiest?
Hunkiest. Look, it's probably time for the ad break. I'll think about it during the ads. I'm going through them all in my mind, just starting at the start.
Starting at breakfast
and working my way towards the sports bar. And
I think the song will be "You Can Leave All Your Clothes On, Please." Anyway, Max and Barry here till 2. We'll do League 1 and League 2 kicked off. Cambridge United's huge win over Cheltenham. We'll talk about that and the other stuff in just a second.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why.
So we'll see.
The club was formed in 1939 as a result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were absolutely sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side.
Risk, isn't it?
And it worked.
Let's see.
It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played. And it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped most of the players were Oxford graduates who didn't need the money. Instead of entering league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game.
Anyway, a new offence will make it illegal to advertise small boat crossings or fake passports on social media. Those caught could face up to 5 years in prison.
Famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil, and the locals in São Paulo were so impressed they started their own team under the same crossings
this year.
Yes. The same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021,
using
one of the biggest clubs
according to reports, the allegations were made in legal documents filed by a former contestant. It's understood an external law firm has been appointed to look into the claims. Up to 300 children are to be evacuated from Gaza and allowed to enter the UK for specialist NHS treatment. The government says it will operate in parallel with a scheme run by the group Project Pure Hope. And an upgraded amber weather warning for wind has been issued across large parts of Scotland ahead of Storm Floris hitting tomorrow morning. Gusts of up to 90 miles per hour are forecast on exposed coasts and bridges.
Talk Sport with Bostik. If you're looking for a professional grade sealant that offers technologically advanced performance, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
At the Oval, England are 121 for 3. They need it.
It's an outstanding finish.
Capaccio! Oh, what a goal! What a way to get your first goal for Cardiff City!
Remembering my own playing days, and the first day of the season can be quite a difficult game because there's so much expectation, you put so much into it.
Plymouth 0, Barnsley 2, and this time it is an absolute cracker from Adam Phillips.
And it's teed up for a shot and into the bottom corner. A left-footed drive by Bobby Poynton, and it's Bradford City 2, Wycombe Wanderers 0, and Valley Parade is in dreamland.
Huddersfield 2, Leyton Orient 0. Alfie May has just got his debut goal for Huddersfield.
Bonds, who was about 12-15 yards out, left of centre, and he's turned and fired the ball into the back of that. Uphill task now for the EFL new boys. Barnet 0, Fleetwood 2.
Lincoln 2, Reading 0. Lincoln double their lead. Rico Hackett has kept his calm, kept his composure with a lovely finish here.
Udo's done well, he's made the run and the finish and the goal for Wycombe Wanderers, and they're back in this game.
Plymouth 1, Barnsley 3, to surely wraps it up. Davis Kinordun is the man who's got it.
Comes Molyneux, hits it, and it goes straight down the middle. It is Doncaster Rovers 1, Exeter 0.
10-man Walsall 2, Swindon 1. Connor Barrett. This stadium has come alive once again.
It does feel like a flattering scoreline, but Huddersfield 3-0 up.
Yeah, football is back. God, it's been gone for so long, hadn't it? So we're happy to have it back. Sorry, Barry burst out laughing during that montage, not because of the quality of the montage. Do you want to share it with the class, Barry?
I just got a text message from Lucy Ward.
Hello, Lucy Ward.
Hello, Lucy Ward, friend of the show.
Yeah.
And the text reads, just a question, why can't you say Ellard properly?
Mm-hmm.
As in Sam Ellard.
Yeah. What, me?
No, me.
Okay.
Am I saying it wrong? Ellard?
I don't know.
As in, like the dog in EastEnders, but without a W.
Correct.
Ellard.
Yeah. Why is that so funny?
Well, I don't know. She seems to think I'm saying wrong, because she's Northern. Who is she to tell me how to speak?
Okay. Well, if you want to...
But my reply was, why don't you F off?
Oh, sweet. That is sweet, isn't it? I hope you're having a lovely day, Lucy. Anyway, let's talk to former Arsenal midfielder, EFL expert Adrian Clark. Hey, Clark, are you good?
Hello. He's a lovely guy, Barry, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It's all sent with heart, isn't it? Where do you want to start? You were at, Bradford Wickham. I saw the highlights. The one thing that took me from that game was one incredible save. I don't know if it was a match-winning save or the status of the game, because when you're watching lots of highlights, it all becomes a blur. But I'd like, if you can remember the save, talk about it, because it's worth talking about.
Yeah, I can remember it. It was Mickey Van Sass, the new Wickham goalkeeper, sort of point-blank save from, I think it was Stephen Humphreys, which was fantastic. But earlier on in the game, and it was his debut as well, he'd done a bit of a blooper for the opener where he spilled one of the shots, and it was followed in by Sarcevic. So mixed debut for the Wickham keeper. I've got to say, I was really impressed by Bradford. I thought they were terrific, and the crowd was nearly 20,000. Brilliant atmosphere.
Who's managing them now? It's Mark Hughes, isn't he? He's at Carlisle now. Who's at Bradford now?
Graham Alexander.
Okay, good penalty.
Yeah, who's a good, solid manager. He's got a couple of promotions on his CV. Yeah, look, Bradford look good, and they've signed some pretty experienced players. So, they could be looking at a top half finish, I reckon.
Good start for them, Clarkie. Huddersfield as well was one result that stood out for me. The 3-0 win over Leyton Orient. I think it's Lee Grant is in charge of Huddersfield now. It's his first managerial gig, is it?
It is.
And there seem to be high hopes for them, so they've got off to a good start.
Yeah, look, what I think has happened at Huddersfield is they've seen Birmingham have gone up, they've seen the Wrexham have gone up, and they thought, right,
why don't we get promoted?
If we can spend some money, let's spend loads of money, and we might actually get promoted this year. It does feel quite wide open. So they've brought in what I would regard as a League One all-star squad. Really, there's loads of top players. They've pressed the Alfie May button as well, which guarantees you at least 20 goals, doesn't it? And he scored yesterday. So 3-0 against Orient. I think that Orient had a lot of chances, but I was looking at some of the stats. I mean, they had 8 shots on target at Huddersfield. They're going to score a lot of goals, and I think they have a great shot at finishing probably top 2 this season. And Lee Grant was the assistant, by the way, to Kieran McKenna at Ipswich for the last 2 or 3 years. So he was part of the Championship promotion winning team in the back. And I've spoken to him before. He's a good coach. So, high hopes for Huddersfield.
Plymouth lost 3-1 at home to Barnsley in their opening day, which is not what they would have wanted.
No, Tom Cleverley obviously got the gig there. There's so much upheaval at Plymouth, hasn't there? Since Wayne Rooney, then the other guy came in, Muslic, who did pretty well but couldn't keep them up. He's been lured elsewhere. So bad start for Plymouth, but good one for Conor Harahan, who's got his first managerial gig at Barnsley. Pretty cool, really, because he's a proper Barnsley legend. So it's a good start for him. I don't know if you're aware of the story around David McGoldrick, who he signed this summer. He played up front. McGoldrick's knocking on now. He's in his late 30s. Apparently, they were at a wedding earlier in the summer, and McGoldrick had a few wines, and he slipped him a piece of paper and said 5-year contract, any chance, or something like that, and it sparked a conversation.
This is how I recruit Sunday League players.
When they're drunk at weddings.
Exactly.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Great.
I love it. So he didn't score, but good start for
He
Barnsley.
can do a job though, can't he, McGoldrick? That level, absolutely.
Cardiff Peterborough was the early game yesterday. Cardiff came from behind to win it. An absolutely sensational free kick from, remind me who scored it?
Ruben Colwell.
What a hit.
Whose brother is also in the Cardiff side. But what a free kick. That was incredible.
Yeah, like they're 1 down. I think they got booed off at half time. Nightmare start to the season. They got a new manager as well, Barry Murphy, who's sort of been brought in to turn Cardiff into a more attractive team to watch. And, I think they were. I think they passed it quite nicely. But yeah, they really came alive second half. It's a free kick, 25 yards out, bent it over the wall into the top corner. You're right. Twin number 10s for Cardiff City this season, Ruben Colwill and Joel Colwill. I love that, don't you? I mean,
they
that's
both play
fantastic.
the same position, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, if anyone's going to be sort of have good chemistry,
and also if one gets suspended, you could put them in each other's shirts and all that kind of stuff. He didn't bend it over the wall, did he? It was a sort of knuckle. It was a classic knuckle ball.
Yeah, well, near post top corner, keeper wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah. The second goal was good as well from Capacchio. He swept it in off the underside of the bar. Look, Cardiff hadn't signed anyone, I don't think, this summer. So there wasn't a lot of expectation. It was a little bit of a sort of flat feeling around the club, but nothing like 3 points on the opening day to change the vibe, eh?
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of Brian Barry Murphy's pedigree, Clarky, but he's the son of a guy called Jimmy Barry Murphy, who is in Ireland, incredibly famous hurling and Gaelic football legend who used to play for Cork many, many years ago. But everyone in Ireland knows him. So people in Ireland will be keeping an eye on Cardiff. They also fielded, I think, their youngest ever team.
Okay.
A lot of young players.
Average age of 9. So really
like
to get a win is very impressive. And hopefully, if he has a son, he calls him Barry, because Barry Murphy is a very strong name.
I could call him Murphy Barry Murphy.
Yeah, that's true. Murphy Barry Murphy is a good one, yeah. Anyway, the big news is Cambridge United in 6th position in League 2. So, playoffs beckon after a fantastic 1-0 win over Cheltenham. Louis Appere, who I wrote an article about, because Cambridge did a sort of video going, we've signed a striker, and here he is, and there was lots of footage of this man in jeans and trainers kicking a ball, but they didn't give his name, and I thought that is really sort of generous to the knowledge of Cambridge fans as to it's just a man in jeans. I don't know who it is. Who is this guy? But he scored the winner, and actually, I watched this game, Clark. He had a good game, and now I am full of hope.
Yeah, I bet you are. Yeah. No, I spoke to Mark Bonner on EFL All Access on talkSPORT 2 earlier in the week. He was really sort of buzzing about the season. I think it's a good combo, isn't it? Him and Neil Harris, obviously two former managers coming back to work in tandem. So yeah, no, good start. It was a bit of a tap-in, wasn't it? But I think from what I've seen, Sully Kai was a bit of a star. Ben Knight as well.
Ben Knight was
good start for the
year. Ben Knight is an interesting guy who has been training with us since February, but he was at City as a sort of teenager, and his debut was in the Charity Shield. He came on for Ferran Torres. Pep brought him on, and then obviously sort of he just didn't quite click at that level. So he played England under 18s and 19s, I think. He looks really good, but obviously clearly super talented. But just interesting.
Well, I mean, anyone that's followed my career, it wasn't quite as quick as that, but I was in the Premier League, and before I knew it, I was down in League 2 as well. So that slippery slope can catch you. But yeah, hopefully.
You were like a comet, Clarky.
Yeah. But for you, Clarky, like the mentality then for you to have played at that, because I was just sort of thinking about Ben Knight going, is he going, like, because to mentally switch on to go, this is the level I'm at now, and I've got to deliver here, because it's not like you're not going to play every minute of every game, and you don't know where your season's going to go, and you can rebuild your career or have a great career in the lower leagues. But the mentality for you to have played in the Premier League and then be in League 2, what was that like?
Yeah, it was back in those days. It was almost like a different sport. It was certainly, very, very different in style. So I was used to having the ball to feet, from some amazing players at Arsenal, and then suddenly it's sort of up around your neck. So it was hard to adjust to. But mentality-wise, not that big an issue. It's still professional football. It's still in front of a crowd. Points matter.
Yeah,
it is a privilege to be a professional footballer. So it wasn't tough, but it was getting to grips with the different sort of style of football that I found probably most challenging. But I was a little bit of a soft winger.
Clarky, Salford City lost their first match at home to Crewe. I'm not sure why. I think it's because Gary Neville is such a know-all when he's a pundit. I always get a little frisson of enjoyment when Salford City do badly. Obviously, he's a co-owner. Are they destined to be marooned in League 2? Is it for a 6th or 7th consecutive season? Or am I jumping the gun?
And you're probably jumping the gun a little bit. Carl Robinson's done a pretty good job there. They've definitely improved. But yeah, there's work to do. They're no Wrexham. I don't think they're going to fly through the leagues. The issue they've got at Salford is they just don't get enough people through the turnstiles. They still, you've got very small gates, so they're sort of limited in what they can do, I guess, ambition-wise. But yeah, bad start for them, definitely. Did you see Barnet? Did you see what happened with the keeper?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just in case the listeners weren't aware, so there's a big blooper from the goalkeeper. He's got loads of time. He's sort of all casual, knocks it out of his feet to look upfield, and he knocks it too far. The striker steals it off him and puts it into the empty net. It's a really embarrassing one. And Dean Brennan afterwards, who never pulls any punches, absolutely hammered him because he's a new signing. It was his debut. Oof. And he basically said he's messed us around all summer trying to get this and that on his contract. He's only had a couple of training sessions. That's his fault, and I'm not going to protect him. So
okay. Cheers, mate.
What a way to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks, Clarky. Good stuff.
Lovely. All right, see you soon.
Adrian Clark there, AFL expert, former Arsenal midfielder, and League Two midfielder as well. It is Max and Mary here on the warm-up. We'll go to Sam Ellard in just a sec.
talkSPORT Drive on the road again. Navigate home with big names, big wheels, and brawn. The nation's ultimate get-home sports machine.
Here we come!
Pull up to the bumper with the nation's fastest moving sport. Tomorrow afternoon from 4, talkSPORT Drive.
10K for Coldplay.
Time running out to enter our huge prize draw to win £10,000 and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley. So 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality, £10,000 tax-free as well, 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN to 88888. No, hang on. I've got this wrong before. 83338. Don't text the other one. Who knows what that's for. 83338. By the 4th of August at 11 p.m, you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition PO Box 3190 Colchester CO2 8GP to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a TalkSPORT limited promotion run on TalkSPORT Talk, Virgin Radio UK stations, full T's and C's at talksport.com. Thank you very much, Chris Martin, for that. Right, let's look at the list. Odds ahead of today's action with William Hill.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Ben
Barrett joins us. Hey, Ben, you okay?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, excellent, thanks. Harry Brook is teeing off at the Oval, so some in-play odds, I imagine, for England and India.
Yeah, you're right. Harry Brooks decided he's had enough. We're finishing today no matter what. England 154 for 3, currently chasing down that mammoth 370-something target. England at 13-10. The draw 100-1. You'd have to think that Mother Nature would have to get involved for the draw to be in play at this particular point. India still favourites at 4-7. Joe Root, top England run scorer in this second innings, has been boosted out to 11-8. We keep trying to give you a market on Harry Brook, but he keeps scoring huge 4s and 6s, so we have to keep suspending them and putting them back out again. But I'm sure we'll have more Harry Brook focus for you shortly. But yeah, England needs something special, but these two are capable of it.
Are you paying out on Celtic now? Rangers didn't win the only game of the season.
I know, it feels almost inevitable, doesn't it? We might as well do. Celtic are now 1-3 favourites to win the William Hill Scottish Premiership, but they were short enough as it is, and we had to make them slightly shorter even still as a result. We've decided to give you something else today, though. Celtic to win the domestic treble. We've boosted that up to 13-2 ahead of their kickoff a little bit later on.
Okay, and what is the final one standing? This is like last man standing, William Hill's version, I presume.
Exactly that. You've got the nail on the head, spot on there, Max. What we've got is basically a free-to-enter competition, exactly the same format as you described. The final one standing allows you to pick your wits. You get to pick a Premier League team each and every week, and so long as that Premier League team wins, you're through to the next round. We will eventually declare a final one standing. You can continue to enter in amongst your mates, completely free. You've just got to be tactical about it. When do you play your big guns? When do you maybe look for that sneaky little fixture where there's not a lot riding on it, but it'll get you through to the next week? If you want to get involved, over 115,000 people are already locked in for week 1 ahead of the start of the Premier League season. You can head to the website and just download the William Hill app. You need to be 18, obviously, or higher. And of course, we always ask that you gamble responsibly, but you can get involved now completely free. And for game week 1, we are putting up a total end prize pot of £500,000.
Oh, goody. All right. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Ben Barrett there, excuse me. That was the latest odds with William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill, 18+, gambleaware.org.
Dan has been in touch. Question for Barry. Who was Southampton's manager until April this year?
Russell Martin. Or April.
Yeah.
Ivan Juric.
Oh, very well done. Let's go to Sam Allard, who's at the Oval. This is fun now, isn't it? Harry Brook, Tinoco. If he can stay there for an hour or 2 hours.
He'll win the game if he's there for another hour. He'll score 214 runs. I mean, it's 160 for 3, 214 more runs needed. This partnership already worth 54 runs inside 8.3 overs. Harry Brook is doing Harry Brook things, 36 runs from 28 balls. We just had a remarkable 2 overs of cricket where Harry Brook came down the wicket, charged Akashdeep for him over the cover boundary for a glorious 6. At the other end, Pradesh Krishna bowled a short ball to Brook. He obviously took on the short ball. He was caught at fine leg by Mohammad Siraj, but as Mohammad Siraj took the catch, he stepped back and onto the boundary rope for 6 runs. Then Harry Brook, does he think, you know what, I'm maybe going to, just get to lunch? Of course not. The next ball, he charges down the wicket again and goes over the offside for a 4. So it's fun, it's quick. England's intent is, try and take the game to the opposition. Certainly Harry Brook anyway. He's got 36, Root's got 21. The 2 wickets to fall today was Ducky for 54, Pope for 27. England 160 for 3, needing a further 214 runs.
Sam, could you get word to Harry Brook? I don't know, get the 12th man to run on with a piece of paper or something, a note saying the earliest I can get to the Oval is 2:25.
Yes.
When I get there, I'll want a pint and something to eat, a burger or a curry.
Hope you've got a couple of quid on you.
So before I get to my seat, it'll probably be nearer 10-3. I'd like to see some cricket, please.
Yeah, I can, as soon as it's lunch in 5, so what I can do is if I finish this soon, I can run around and try and tell Harry. I don't think Harry Brook knows how to defend, though, does he? I don't think he knows. Like,
just a few forward defences.
Yeah, it's 2025, Barry. It's not 2022 anymore. I don't think forward defences is what these boys do anymore. Certainly not Harry Brook anyway.
When do we start to believe, Sam?
I'm believing already. What do you mean? When do we start?
But that's what they do, isn't it? Still, there's quite a lot of runs.
No, it's a lot of runs. Look, it's.
And what's the pitch doing? Is the pitch doing a lot?
Yeah, it is. This has been the best pitch by far this whole series. I think the criticism perhaps in the first 4 matches is it has been batting friendly. This pitch has done a little bit sideways movements, there's been a little bit of swing. It has been overcast conditions for the last couple of days, so there's life in this pitch. He's doing a bit, and that also might also contribute to England's decision to try and being attacking and get after the bowlers for sure. But yeah, Brooks looking in really good touch, and I think I mentioned in the previous update, probably kind of stating the obvious, but this is clearly the key partnership for England.
And when like the dust settles after this tour, who do you look at in terms of the Ashes? Because it's interesting that, you know, Josh Tongue's been the highest wicket taker despite only playing 3 games, isn't it?
Yeah, so in terms of the England team for the Ashes,
does it write itself, or are there people who've played their way in?
I think the batting is going to write itself. I think the top order is going to be what it is here. I mean, people have got their reservations about Zach Crawley and Ollie Pope, who have had okay series, but England are so invested in those guys. I think that the top 7 will be the top 7 as we've seen this series, with Stokes obviously playing instead of Bethel. And yeah, I think the fast bowling, I think England will just have everything crossed that from now until the Ashes that everybody can go to Australia fit. I think if everybody's fit, I think England's pace attack will be Archer, Atkinson and Wood. But at the moment, unfortunately, they can't get them all fit at the same time. So I think in terms of the batting, I think that's pretty settled. I think in terms of the bowling, see who's available, see who's fit, and then kind of make a decision from there.
Lovely stuff, Sam. Sam
enjoy the cricket, Barry.
Thank you, Sam.
Is with us lunch in a couple of minutes. It's Max and Barry here on the warm-up.
For every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. And Man United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are just some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez joined United from Arsenal back in 2018 and became the highest paid player in the Prem. He'd averaged almost 1 goal every 2 games for the Gunners, but in his 45 games for Man United, he only managed 5 goals. Not what you want from a star striker. Next up, Radamel Falcao. He earned himself the nickname the Tiger for his sheer efficiency and the way he used to pounce upon the mistakes of defenders. But at Man United, he was way more pussycat than Tiger, to be honest. All he managed in 29 Man United games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone much worse for Jadon Sancho at Man United. Yeah, it would have been hard to outdo his Borussia Dortmund form, but 12 goals in 83 games is not great. Things got worse after a public fallout with manager Erik ten Hag. Sancho said he was being made a scapegoat. Ten Hag said there'd been a discipline issue. It all ended up with Sancho going back to Germany. Next, Erik ten Hag probably thought he was being smart in sticking to what he knew when he signed Antony from his former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian hasn't really been able to hack it in the Prem. Chances are Antony's Man United days are numbered. Next, the curse of the Man United number 7 shirt. Not an easy act following Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and George Best. But Memphis Depay was another striker who was apparently allergic to scoring for United. He scored just 7 in 53 appearances, a huge letdown since he'd helped PSV win the Dutch league just a season before joining. Last one, Angel Di Maria was set to be United's landmark signing when he joined in 2014, but one season later he was already on his way out. 4 goals in 32 games was just not good enough, given he'd broken the British record transfer fee when he signed. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the Prem for a while, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Good afternoon all, welcome. This is the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max Rushden and Barry Glendenning with you until 2. Let's do some transfer stuff in the company of Will Pugh, host of the Sun Sports new YouTube show, Transfers Exposed, West Ham fan as well. Hey Will, you good?
Yeah, gents, how you getting on?
Yeah, very good. And for those watching on YouTube or the Smart TV, will see your trophy cap. I was going to say, it sort of seems sort of more laden than West Ham's itself. Actually, you've achieved a lot in your career, Will.
Absolutely, yeah. Quite a lot of Sportsman of the Year awards in there, though. Clubman of the Year,
got it.
That sort of thing. Collecting the bibs, washing the kits, that sort of stuff.
Try very hard. You're always there.
Turn up every week.
It's a special award, yeah. Right. It's like an effort award,
okay.
All those kind of things. He really does so much.
Yeah.
And, you'll come on for 25 minutes at the end, but, he's not doing a lot on the pitch. Where do you want to start? Yeah. You can kick us off, Will. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, back page of the Sun this morning, we'll start with some Manchester United stuff. Arabian Fights is the headline. Dual story here. Martin Lipton is out in the States at the moment following United on their pre-season tour. And he covers a story that United are braced for a bid from Saudi Arabia for Bruno Fernandes. Catherine Walsh also writing around the Sesko story, which I know you've covered this morning. But this Bruno Fernandes one I find quite interesting. Obviously rejected 60 million quid a year from Al Hilal in June. They were willing to pay United £100 million. Now, Al Nasser, Cristiano Ronaldo's club, of course, they are expected to come in with a bid said to be more than 100 million. The money would be sort of similar sort of like range as the previous deal. He's got 2 years left on his United contract with a year's option, 325 grand a week. But Martin Lipton writing an excellent piece this morning saying he's a square peg in a round hole and United should sell him, but he doesn't think they've got the bottle because of a fear of instability. But an interesting story. Fernandes, do you reckon they can afford to let him go?
Well, I'm just thinking it's quite unstable there already. Would it really make that much of a difference?
In for a penny, in for a pound sort of thing.
I think he's a bit too important. I also think if you're him, you're not going to take... I suppose what's interesting, isn't it, about this utterly insane amount of money that they get offered to go to Saudi is that they're obviously already being paid a ridiculous amount of money to exist. You cannot spend the amount of money that he's earning. I don't know what you need to buy a number of golden hats. But I guess if you're in that world and then somebody says you can have 10 times the amount of whatever it is, you would go, oh, that's so much. I could buy even more golden hats. But, it just depends who they have around them saying, Bruno, that's a lot. You're getting a lot of money right now. You don't need any more. But I don't know.
But I always think that, though, that people just... That we apply our own scales to those of footballers.
Yeah.
I sort of feel like in any industry, if someone said to you, you can earn 5 times as much as you are earning now.
We would never leave talkSPORT, Barry.
Who's asking?
yeah. Who wants to pay us 5 times the amount? I'm in. Sign me up. Riyadh FM. Riyadh FM. I'm there. You know, I may have to delete some of the things I've written and said about the Saudi league. Yeah, I don't think he should, and I don't agree with Martin Lips. I think he's really crucial for Manchester United. I mean, maybe he doesn't fit in Amorim's system, but I feel like you can't let him go if you're him.
It's a bit of a sort of statement of disintent, I suppose, if that's even a word, if you do let him walk out the door, given what they're trying to do with the front line as well, I suppose. But that sort of moves us on quite nicely to the Benjamin Sesko. Newcastle's bid, obviously, 70 million quid, 65.5 million plus 4 and a bit in add-ons. Leipzig have always said, even though he's got an £86 million release clause, they've always said they'll accept around 70. That was certainly what they said to Arsenal when they came knocking before they signed Gyökeres. But now you sense that position might shift a little bit, with Newcastle and United seemingly set to go head-to-head on that one. And then, as we've covered, that the Isak to Liverpool deal is probably now at the stage where that's dependent on Newcastle signing a replacement. But the interesting part to this Sesko deal is Arsenal, he was their number one target earlier in the window, and they'd done lots of background work on his ability and his player profile, his tactical nous and all that sort of stuff. But they ended up not signing him and switching to Gyökeres, as much as the financial demands of Leipzig and Sesko were quite high for a player who had a couple of decent seasons, but hardly ripping up trees. But lots of doubts in the end about his sort of mentality and his ability to lead the line at such a big club. And Gyökeres, we've sort of seen with his character already in the way he conducted the negotiations as he left Lisbon, he's not shy of a little bit of self-confidence. And I sense there is a little bit of hesitancy among these big clubs around Sesko. But they're in a situation now when, especially Newcastle and United, where they need a number 9 and there isn't an abundance of options.
Well, I was looking at social media yesterday and just...
Your first mistake.
Yeah. And I know it's a massive distortion of actual real life, but there are so many Liverpool and Newcastle fans are absolutely losing their minds over the whole Isak, Sesko, who goes where, what'll happen, and all these varying degrees of one-upmanship. And I'm just wondering what you make of it all. And then you've all these people, some reputable sources, some disreputable sources, some, I suspect, just blokes in their mum's box room claiming to be in the know. But there's so many
this is actually my parents' house, Barry. So.
There's so many wildly differing opinions being stated as fact. I'm just wondering, as someone who's, the host of Sun Sports' new YouTube show, Transfers Exposed, do you have to stay across all that, and what do you make of it? And are you involved in it? Are you part of it?
Well, I'm not doing any of the deals, but it is well annoying. Every time, if I get either from producers on talkSPORT when we're preparing for our own shows, to talk about one player and to do it justice, you need to do adequate prep on about 5 or 6. So other than being professionally irritating, I find it it's quite interesting, really. I think it's quite exciting. It makes it exciting for fans. And, it's like over the summer, fans latch themselves onto transfer news so much, don't they, that when there's sort of more than one moving part at play. And I think it is. This summer feels more so than ever. Lots of the time that can sort of be hammed up a little bit, I suppose. But this summer it really does feel like there's lots of people waiting for the first domino or card to fall.
Yeah. All these barnacles attached to Alexander Isak, aren't they? Twitter handles just there, latching onto him with his every move, slowing him down. Can't get anywhere.
But you have all these fans, and say if a journalist or a transfer guru tweets something they agree with or want to hear, well, he's a great journalist, he's reputable. And if they tweet or report something that these fans don't want to hear, oh, well, he's a fraud, what would he know, idiot? It's quite amusing for a while.
Can we talk about Heung-min Son, Will? I just think it feels... The timing feels perfect. I think Tottenham fans will always love him. He won a trophy. He was perhaps slowing down a tiny bit. He didn't have his greatest season last year. He's still a wonderful footballer. He has scored so many brilliant goals. so few players are so brilliantly two-footed. He did he's just like the perfect pro, like there's never anything but total commitment to that side. And I think everyone will say, this is great. We didn't need another year of him sort of not getting a lot of football. He might not have been first choice. Go to LA, have a lovely time, do some more modelling. This is just everybody wins.
Well, yeah, you've sort of summed it up there, Max. But so Dean Scoggins is the deputy head of sport at the Sun, who hosts the transfer show alongside me throughout the summer. He's a Tottenham fan as well, and we discussed the story, or we broke the story on July the 24th. It was that that Tottenham would accept around 15 to 20 million. Worth bearing in mind, he's got a year left on his deal, so some money will exchange hands. LAFC appear to be the only suitors at this stage. I think personal terms have been agreed for a couple of weeks now. And Dino was very passionate about it's up to Son. He can do what he likes. He's due an emotional farewell. If he wants to stay another season, he can do. But really, I think Thomas Frank described it as a tricky situation in one of his first questions he was asked when he took over at Tottenham around the Son situation, which, reading between the lines, was, it's tricky because he's not going to be my first choice. And I don't think any Tottenham fans wanted him just sort of sitting on the bench and the camera panning to him as Tottenham were drawing 1-1 with 10 minutes to go, wondering whether he's going to get on. But the thing that I found interesting about all of it was that I thought he could still offer something like a considerable amount to someone else in the Premier League. Maybe he's not at that starting level for Tottenham. But Dino was quite adamant. No, he'd
LA
never do that. He'd never play.
Sunderland is good.
Or West Ham is what he's thinking. Well, I think he could, but I don't think he needs to. I think it's like job done, won a trophy, Premier League done. Go and live it. Who doesn't want to live in LA?
I don't.
You don't
really don't.
You don't want to live in LA. No. Weather's good. We'll pay you 5 times the amount.
No interest in living in LA.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, for a bit.
Arguably, I think it's better than the leafy suburbs of North London.
What do you think? I don't know. I think so. I would. I think it's perfect for him. I think it's perfect for Heung-min Son. It's not perfect for you, but you're not a discussion for the transfer.
No.
To transfer tavern or whatever it may be. What about West Ham then? Will, come on. What were are you happy with? I don't know. What have you done?
You've signed Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson and Danny Ings. There's a set. I want them up front together. That is very Barclays, isn't it? I'm a big fan.
Honestly, well, we've also signed a left back from Slavia Prague, Diouf, and it's the same place we got Kufau, Thomas Souček and Vladimir Coufal from, 2 modern-day legends. But yeah, Callum Wilson's the latest one. You mentioned Danny Ings there. West Ham fans were tearing their hair out for the entirety of Danny Ings' stay at West Ham.
Oh, was he not there anymore?
No. We finally got him out the door at the end of last season.
I'm not in the know. I am a fraud. Proof.
Well, but that is lots of West Ham fans were sort of immediately fuming when the Callum Wilson signing was announced, because it was like Danny Ings finally got out the door, was earning an awful lot of money, which compared to weighed against his contribution was certainly not worth it. Callum Wilson's come in, same sort of profile, 33, the best years of his career. Arguably behind him. He spent 677 days out injured in his 5 years at Newcastle. Lots of concerns around that. However, the difference being this time, because David Sullivan, who's quite close to his Wilson's agent, Will Salthouse, been criticised for doing deals with Salthouse in the past. Worth noting, there's been some good ones as well. But this Callum Wilson deal, hugely performance-based, basic wage believed to be around the £10,000 a week mark. So West Ham won't be as financially vulnerable as they were with Danny Ings. He will need to play games and score goals in order to get paid Premier League wages, basically.
Yeah, West Ham is obviously famously a good place for strikers to go to revive their flagging careers. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, Nicholas Füllkrug will be the number one choice, of course.
Yeah, I like him.
That, I really like him. I think he was unlucky last season, got injured at some awkward times, but when he did play, and he looks absolutely in excellent shape in pre-season. But suggestions again, as was the case with David Moyes and the Danny Ings signing, that it was a boardroom signing rather than a managerial one. Similar suggestions again now, but I think West Ham have been a bit more sensible financially around this deal, where if Graham Potter doesn't play Wilson, he doesn't get paid that much.
I say, like Fulkrug as well, didn't he sort of come out last season?
Oh, he slammed.
The rest of my team are useless.
Yeah. Yeah, he was asked about that again last week, and he just sort of, like, in pre-season on the social media channels, and he sort of just doubled down on it. He said, "Yeah, well,
they're still rubbish.
None of my teammates liked it. Yeah. None of them have got any better."
I played for the worst team. They're all rubbish. I hate them all.
They're holding me back.
Exactly. See you at trade. Stick it in the mixer, please.
No one listened to me.
Yeah, are you worried, Will? Are you worried, Will, about West Ham? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was such an pro David Moyes advocate. I was the sort of like last remaining member of the club, and sort of annoyingly didn't want to be, but was proved right last season because it was an absolute disaster. I'm not exactly worried. I'm just
resigned. Yeah, resigned.
Because it will come 12th or 13th again. We won't go down, but we won't threaten the European.
I think resigned apathy is sort of we need that from West Ham for sort of a normal Premier League season.
Resigned apathy. Can I ask you, Will? Every day I wake up, I'm a Sunderland fan. Sunderland just keep working on the assumption that every single player who comes in will be brilliant, won't fall out with the manager, won't get injured, won't have a slump in form. Sunderland seem to be making, have gone from this joke of a club who were in the Netflix documentary to being quite a serious operation who seem to be making some incredibly shrewd signings. Granit Xhaka, I think, could be a sensational signing for them. I was astonished he went there and delighted. Yeah. But what have you made of their business?
I quite agree. I think they're going about their business in a very, very deliberate manner and making it clear that we intend to stay in the Premier League. I know it's an easy thing to say, but they're sort of putting their money where their mouth is, it seems. I think about 120 million total spend at the moment. Lots of midfield reinforcements, it seems, Barry, but couldn't agree more about Xhaka, because I thought, I think that's exactly what they need among all the young players with sort of a lack of Prem experience.
Yeah, I think so. I did like the video where he was asked lots of one-word questions about Sunderland. Clearly, he has absolutely no idea who he's signed for, but it doesn't matter. He'll do a good job. Hey, cheers, Will. I had a nice time. I hope you did. Will Pugh there, host of the Sun Sports new YouTube show, Transfers Exposed. Perry Groves joins us for the footballer game next. everybody. It is the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max and Barry with you until 2. After us, the Sunday session. I believe it's Hugh Wozencroft and Perry Groves in the hot seat for the next 16 hours. What have you got today, Perry? How long have you got?
That's another presenter that I've seen off. I think there's been 5 this summer. So all the usual features, sound, smile, stat face. We'll do the Isaac and Sesko, transfer, and we'll got a lovely section about Son Heung-min. Is he a Premier League great?
Yes.
I
don't want to ruin it, but yes.
Yeah, okay, that's it. That's that section gone then.
Yeah, okay.
It's finished.
With all these questions, right, is he world class? Is he the best? It all depends on just how you define. It's actually a conversation about language more than about football. It's just how you define great.
Yeah, and different parameters that you have, isn't it? So,
and you're also saddled with the, I suppose, added inconvenience that if you say he is world class, loads of gooners will jump on your back because you shouldn't be calling Spurs players world class as a gooner, and if you say he isn't, Spurs fans will be on your back
just because
you're only saying that because you're a gooner,
a biased gooner.
So you can't win.
Oh no, I'll try and be balanced. But
I've no doubt you'll be balanced. All I can do, and the listeners, I'm sure, will appreciate that.
All I can do is give my opinion and then get ready for the tidal wave. On. Exactly, tidal wave. It's lucky I don't do X or I don't do any of the social media stuff, so I'm all right.
How about the footballer game today, Perry?
Well, do you know what?
Hang on. No. I'm just about. How about if you win, the Sunday session can carry on starting at 1:30 next season. If we win, we give you that half hour we don't want back.
Hold on, I've got my agent in my ear. No.
I just think it really suits. I just think the Sunday session is such a big show. It should start on the hour. Maybe even midday. Yeah, but why? Me and Barry could just do 11 till 12.
Why deprive the listeners of the quality of the conversation and the in-depth analysis and the wit and humour of you two for that half an hour?
But we very conspicuously flag in the last half hour.
The last half hour is terrible radio.
Yeah, it's only because you're not present. You're present physically, but you're actually present in the bar with your pint of Guinness that is just being poured, ready for you to sample as you get in there.
There is that.
I thought you were going to accuse him of slander, but then he had the defence of truth.
Well, truth famously isn't a libel defence.
No, that's true. No. Good point. Defamation.
Being wrong.
All depends your definition of the truth.
Well, it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Perry's truth and my truth are
totally different. You're lucky I didn't have a fit of pique because I was binned last week.
Wait, off the
footballer game. So I've been to a retreat in the Swiss Alps.
Right.
And I was going to go all Isaac and go, no, I ain't doing it, I ain't coming back.
But hang on, we didn't bin you. I'd never bin you from this
decision was taken above our heads.
It was. This heads will roll in through the glass.
Take responsibility. It's your show.
Who played the footballer game last week?
Ollie Clink.
They binned you for Clink?
I was sat next to him.
What's Clink got? What's he got on everyone? I mean, I like the guy. He's got potential, but he's like Perry. How many league titles has he got?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
This is absolutely disgraceful.
And football combination titles as well.
Has Clink got something?
Football combination. Oh, bad.
What's that?
Football combination, the old reserve team league.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes, when reserves mattered.
Do you think Ollie Clink has something on, the big cheeses here at talkSPORT, and that's why he was promoted to the footballer game?
Or what do you think? He's got some Coldplay footage somewhere.
Producer Andrew says, in my defence, I wasn't aware Perry was there at the time. So there we go. So frankly, we now know that Clink was very much reserve.
Yeah, and I think that Clink knew, obviously, I was there, and he thought, no, this is the youth. This is a youth team coming through. You're done.
You've got to worry about young people. They're going to come here and take our jobs.
Yeah, the thing is, you've got what thing is, you was one of them once.
I'm straight in here.
I'll get it.
I was trying to nick Brazil's gig for ages. I could do that.
Was you turning up at Southwark?
Yeah. What I'd do is I'd wake up, I'd get absolutely wasted through the night, and then I wouldn't turn up at 6 a.m, and they didn't give me the breakfast show. It was very upsetting. Let's play. Reese is here. Hey, Reese.
Hey.
Out of 10, how you going?
We'll go for a 7.
Let's play.
Our first footballer began his career at Welling United in 1980, where he stayed until 1984, scoring an apparently non-applicable amount of goals in 105 games. He then moved on to Weymouth for the 84-85
Steve
season.
Claridge.
Nope, scoring 16 goals in 40 games before moving to Southampton in 1985, staying until 1988, scoring 5 goals in 83 games. He was then off to Norwich between 88
Simon
and 90.
Charlton.
Nope, scoring 8 goals in 71 games. He was then off to Chelsea between 1990.
Robert Fleck.
Nope, and 1993, scoring 12 and 110. He was then off to Aston Villa between 93 and 97. Nope, where he scored 8 in 134. He then moved on to Middlesbrough, where he stayed between 97 and 99, scoring 3 in 77, before finishing his career at West Brom in the 99-2000 season, not scoring in 18 games.
He's such a football sticker, isn't he? Southampton, Norwich, Chelsea, Villa, Middlesbrough.
He scored 7 goals in 70 appearances between 1989 and 1997 for the Republic of Ireland.
Oh, Andy Townsend.
It is Andy Townsend.
Oh, that is. I mean,
By the way,
that is a VAR.
that's a dead heat, isn't it?
That's definitely a photo finish.
Have you ever had a dead heat?
It's a dead heat means no points for anyone.
Half a
was
point.
miles.
No, I think we get one or half a point each.
Exactly.
Well, no, can we replay the tapes? Who's on the EVS to Gold TV? Who can get that replay straight away? How quickly can we cut the replay back?
I'm happy with it.
But I'd like to hear because one of you will be just on the. One of you will be 0.001 seconds ahead of the other, and it'll be so exciting.
I just hope Andy Townsend isn't listening.
Yeah,
He'd be
well,
very
apologies to Andy Townsend. Yeah.
But I don't remember him being at West Brom, I have to say. But
no,
It was the Weymouth Southampton. That was the clue.
I don't remember him being at Southampton.
No, I remember him being at Norwich, Chelsea, Villa, and Borough.
I don't remember being at Southampton. So we've got that in common.
You were probably there with him.
Do we have it? Do we have it, guys? We don't have it because it's absolutely very upsetting. If we had some professional people
Half
here,
a point.
Well, let's say
I'll take a half point.
I'm happy to give you half each, but if we get the replay in time for the end of the footballer game, I'd like to hear it again to see who gets the point. But it certainly wasn't me. Max 0, one of Barry or Perry 1. Here we go with player 2.
Our second footballer began his career at Port Vale in 1982, staying until 1991.
Mark Chamberlain.
Nope, scoring 77 goals in 294 games. He then finished his career at Wimbledon between 1991 and 2000. It is Robbie Earle.
Good work.
Yeah, can I just say for the tape, not only did I get that right, I had someone in my ear telling me why we couldn't get the replay. We won't get the replay until next week because we're still using, gerbils on wheels to power this radio station. Yes, Perry?
No, I was just going to say, so you had a bit of housery going on in your ears, did you?
Yeah, I was being housed by
concentration
the people who were meant to be, they're meant to set everything up for us. Okay, Max 1, Barry, Perry, a half. Here we go.
Our final footballer began his career at Dynamo Zagreb in 2006, staying until 2010, scoring once in 37 games, taking in 2 years on loan at Inter Saprasic, where he also scored just the 1 goal in 50 games. He was then off to France with Lyon between 2010 and 2013, scoring twice in 72 games before coming to England with Southampton.
Slaven Bilic.
Nope, where he spent the 2013-2014 season at Southampton, scoring twice in 31 games, earning him a big money move to Liverpool between 2014 and 2020.
Dejan Lovren.
It is Dejan Lovren.
Such a disdainful noise.
Yeah, the thing is, you know why?
Yeah.
Is Paz and myself thought we had half a chance there.
Yeah.
We've got a run on this, and we didn't realise that it was our ambition and our enthusiasm far outweighing our talent. That was just God.
There we go. So it really doesn't matter who came first with Andy Townsend.
It's the hope that kills you.
Absolutely right. But look, you both played well. Well done.
Oh, don't bet. Is that the patronise?
Yeah.
Don't need that. Stick your handshake.
Condescending Max.
Exactly.
Max 2, it doesn't really matter what the others got. Thank you, Perry. Have a good show.
It's been an absolute joy.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you in the flesh, my friend. It is Max and Barry here until 2. Barca Jim will come on and probably, analyse the show and how it's been. And we'll talk about the start of the Scottish Premiership season as well.
10k for Coldplay.
Time running out to enter our prize draw to win £10,000 and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on the 22nd of August. Full hospitality, £10,000 tax-free. Ends tomorrow night, 11 p.m, 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland. All you have to do is text the word WIN to 83338 by tomorrow, the 4th of August at 11 p.m, £2. Your text cost plus one standard network rate. You must have the bill player's permission or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition. PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. It's a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Do we have the Andy Townsend? Let's just for the tape. I mean, it doesn't matter, of course, but I think listeners won't be able to carry on with their day until they find out who was first between Perry and Barry in the point that didn't matter, guessing Andy Townsend from his career. Here we go.
He scored 7 goals in 70 appearances between 1989 and 1997 for the Republic of Ireland.
Oh, Andy Townsend!
It is Andy Townsend.
Do you think it's you, Barry?
I do.
Can I just have it one more time?
I do.
It's really hard.
For the Republic of Ireland.
Oh, Andy Townsend!
It is Andy Townsend.
Yes, no, I think you're right. Yeah.
See, I think I went, I think I realised it was Andy Townsend first, but we said it at the same time.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter, as you said.
It's just an interesting thing that happened. So there we are.
It's not that interesting.
It's an uninteresting thing that happened. So there we are. Speaking of uninteresting, no, that's not fair, is it? Let's talk to a friend of the show, Barca Jim Burke, comedian, Celtic fan. How are you, Jim?
How are you doing? All right?
Yeah, very good. Normally, when you come on, you sort of debrief the show, tell us how it's gone. I don't know if you've been listening today, but I
have been.
Very happy to take some feedback.
Yeah, you can tell the English Premier League hasn't started yet because A, you've got me on to talk about Scottish football, and B, you've just used 3 minutes to do a photo finish on a game that you played 10 minutes ago.
I think, Jim,
a photo finish to see who came second or third. Sorry.
I would say, even if we were like minutes away from the Merseyside derby and the winner would win the league, I would still have gone big on the photo finish, I think. Yeah. So anyway, how are we feeling about the Scottish Premiership season?
Is it over already? And bearing in mind Celtic haven't actually played a game yet, will they be presented with the trophy this afternoon?
Well, in fairness, I think, Barry, that was your comment to me when we won it last season, was that Rangers gave you a fight for the first 90 minutes of the season, and on paper it looks like that, but it's too early. Believe it or not, actually, the mood around Celtic at the moment isn't good, because we had a good season last season, but we are a bit short in a couple of positions. We've got tons of cash in the bank and no sign that we're spending it, because domestic, we want to kind of be a wee bit more competitive in Europe. We did it last year. So you're thinking maybe that's a wee springboard, something to build on. But thus far, it doesn't look as if the board are doing it. And the mood in the camp is not good amongst the fans.
I think I heard during the week, is there some speculation that Brendan Rodgers may not be massively content with life at Celtic in the moment and thinking about leaving?
Yeah, well, Brendan has to stay 3 years because he was having to go and wear disguises after he left Celtic the last time. So he just wants the rest of his life to be easy. So I don't think he'll leave. But he'd certainly put a shot across the bows on Friday in his presser on Friday to the board, as much as say, look, I'm not here just to tick over. I want to keep improving. I want to make the club the best it can be with the resources that we've got. And that to me was I'm not going to sign another contract, and when my 3 years is up, I'm off. Which, notoriously, any manager who says at the start of the season he's off at the end of the season, that always goes well, doesn't it?
I mean, I suppose the difficult thing for Celtic fans, well, you tell me, Jim, is how do you judge? If you don't win the league, it's a disaster. If you win the league, it's kind of, well, we were expecting to do that. Probably the same goes with, you could lose a semi-final in one of the cups, right? So you win a double. The Champions League, you did. The new system worked for Celtic, right? It was good. You got through to the knockouts. But you're not going to win the Champions League. So it's sort of how do you define the point of your existence is my very shallow question for 20 on a Sunday.
Right, we're talking about me as a Celtic fan, or is it more existential than you?
Take the question however you want to take it.
I'll go with Celtic fan because, I'm in a hotel room, I'm a few floors up. Let's not go down that road at this time. But as a Celtic fan, what you're looking for is, yes, you want to win the league. Yes, you want to be competitive in Europe, and also there's that famed West Ham way, and the Spurs have got a supposed mentality. Celtic fans demand to see the team play a certain way. So yes, we want all of that, and we want to be entertained as well. We don't ask for much, But yeah, it's a very I should be buzzing after Rangers dropping points yesterday, and it's the start of a new season. But there's a real absence of new faces that is a little bit concerning, because last season we ran out of puff towards the end.
Jim, as you mentioned, Rangers drew with Motherwell yesterday in their first game of the season. It would be fair to say the appointment of Russell Martin wasn't greeted with widespread enthusiasm among Rangers fans. He has got them to a position where they are guaranteed Europa League group stage football till January, but that result yesterday was a bit of a shocker, and he was publicly scathing of his team or some of his players after the game. Were you surprised by that?
Before you answer that, Jim, let's listen to that bit of Russell Martin.
I think we were lucky to get a point. We were nowhere near where we need to be, and I'm extremely disappointed and hurt by that. They were braver than us, they were more aggressive than us. There is a default here. The default is to revert to type, which is when it's going really well, everyone's all in, it's really good. When it's not going well, you protect yourself a little bit, and the self-preservation stuff. So we had two men on the pitch today that want to do what they want to do. When you want to just jog around and do what you want to do, there's a big problem. So some of them have to drop their ego.
Thoughts, Jim?
Well, oddly enough, in the car up, before it died, on the car up, I phoned a pal of mine, Davy Farrell, who was an assistant manager to Alec Gray at a couple of clubs. So he kind of knows how dressing rooms works. And I said to him, does that sound as bad to me as a punter as it would to you as being in the game? He went, it's even worse. He said, because if you throw your players under the bus that early in the season, you've still got to go back to them and ask them to give you performances. And if you've absolutely slaughtered them on the first day, you can, it sounds strange, you can lose a dressing room after one game. And there's a possibility he's done that, which is, well, as a Celtic fan, obviously hilarious, right? But it was a bizarre move.
Yeah.
Bizarre, I thought.
But looking at the game, Jim, he's not wrong.
Well, exactly. But you keep that stuff. Surely it's the old what's happens in the dressing room stays in the dressing room. But he just hung everybody bar two players out to dry, which was, as I say, objectively, from the East End of Glasgow, absolutely bloody hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, once they're under the bus, where do you throw them next? I mean, it's such a fun manhole, don't you, to get them down into the sewers. Anyway, hey, listen, Jim, enjoy the game this afternoon. I don't mean, who are you playing, St Mirren? I mean,
Indeed.
It's
St Mirren, yes.
Yeah, and who have you got that's good now, Jim? Obviously, I've done all my research.
You've lost Nicholas Kuhn, is that right? Where's he gone?
Yes, he's going to Como, I think. He went to Italy. But there was a few clubs in for him. We lost him. We've effectively lost Jota for the season through injury. We've got a guy in, a Danish player, Nygren, that we got relatively cheap, who in pre-season games, it's hard to measure, looked as if he might be quite tidy. But we need a centre-half and we need a centre-forward, because the big guy, Ida, that we got from Norwich last year, the Irish centre-forward, he has failed to convince, and I'm being polite when I say that. And we still need another winger as well, because I think Yang, I think we might be offloading him, I think, to Norwich if we can. So yeah, it's a bit of a kind of low-key start. And as I say, we had a ton of money in the bank anyway last season. We got a profit of something like 15 million on Kuhn. We got a ton of cash from Frimpong going to Liverpool through a sell-on as well. So money's not an issue, but ambition seems to be an issue for the board, and that's a concern.
All right, Jim, thanks for coming on, pal.
Thanks.
All right, lads. All right, enjoy. Cheers now.
Jim Burke there. Offload is just it's a sort of sad verb for a footballer, isn't it? We just said we've offloaded you to Norwich. God, couldn't you just say sold? Offload really does sound like it's a disappointing. This is my career you're talking about. Now, after 8 o'clock tonight, you'll be able to hear the next episode of After the Lights go out on talkSPORT when Steve Harmison and Leon McKenzie are in conversation with the former Newcastle and Sunderland striker Michael Chopra. The interview centres around a serious gambling addiction which affected Michael throughout much of his career. Here he explains how Roy Keane handled the situation when he signed for Sunderland in 2007.
My agent said to me, you need to go and speak to Roy, because if this starts affecting your performance at Sunderland, it's going to be damaging for you, and Roy won't be having any of it. So I spoke to Roy, and Roy was brilliant, really, really good. Took me in his office straight away, totally understand the situation. He literally called up Sport and Chance clinic while I was there in the office to try and get me the help I needed. Roy phoned Sport and Chance was fully booked, but they mentioned another place, which was the Capio Nightingale Hospital, which is next to the Landmark Hotel. So Roy straight away said to me, you're going to go in there next week. And I was like, well, what about football? I want to play football, Roy, and that sort of thing. He went, listen, you need to get the help.
You can hear the full interview with Michael Chopra in After the Lights go out this Sunday from 8 o'clock. All episodes from the current series available from all podcast providers, including those featuring Carl Frampton, James Haskell and Leanne Sanderson. No Justin Morehouse today for guest attendance. Dan Bardell set huge pressure on Bardell. He did tweet earlier, pressure is for tyres. How will he do against Barry Glendenning in guest attendance? We'll find out in a second. Harry Brooks just flashed one through the slips, moves on to 47. England 174 for 3, so they need 200 now exactly to win the series. India needing 7 wickets. So still a lot of India in the box seat, but you never know. Start to believe Barry might get a good hour or two of cricket here when you get to the Oval.
Would you say India are in the box here?
Yeah, 200 runs still quite a lot. You know, and he just has to flash one of those to the slips, doesn't he, Harry Brook? And then you got to build again and blah, blah, blah. And they don't have Stokes to come in either, do they? So, you know, slightly low. You know, they can all bat, these guys, but I think so. But, you know, I believe I'm an optimist. Hey, let's play guest attendance. Today, top journalist Barry Glendenning takes on top influencer Dan Bardell. #blessed. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is a big gig for you, Dan. I don't know if you appreciate what sort of a big gig this is.
I'm familiar with the game. I'm not sure I should be filling a comedian's shoes, but I'll give it my best shot.
That's all you can do.
I always try my best.
A comedian's big clown shoes.
Yeah, just be the best you can be, Dan.
Yeah. There are some, Dan, who would suggest that you have possibly bitten off more than you can chew in volunteering for this game of guest attendance.
I didn't volunteer. I was surprised to be sent the
press
message an hour ago.
into this
really?
game.
You forced it. Are you here against your will?
I'm assuming probably like 10 or 15 people were asked before me and they couldn't do it at short notice.
I think it was only two.
I think it was only two.
Okay, fine.
I think we went Alex Brooker. I don't know if they replied. We went Alex Brooker because he's hosting with me and instead of Charlie next Saturday. So
makes sense.
Then we went Andy Jacobs because he's good at sort of undermining a weekend game that he thinks is silly.
Yeah.
Like that's good. You know, he's obviously loved by, you know, it's a talkSPORT treasure, probably not a national treasure. So you understand why you were below those two in the pecking order. But like showbiz, this is the way showbiz works.
Yeah.
Just got to be available, Dan. If you
do well the whole season. Yeah,
exactly.
You never know, do you?
Could be you versus Justin Morehouse every week, and we know you've got designs on the Glendenning chair. We've seen that already. You know, so
yeah, coming for Barry. I'm coming for Barry seriously.
Okay. Do you want to do a spot of Villa first? I mean, I know you're not. This is
you haven't done much, have you?
What have you done
in the transfer market?
I mean, as a Villa fan, I wasn't really aware that the transfer window was open because we have not done anything at all. But it's understandable that the rules aren't made to favour teams like Villa at the moment. Owners that want to invest aren't allowed to invest, and Villa are going to have to wait till the end of the window to try and get some opportunistic signings in, I think. And I'm okay with that. We've got a decent side, and as long as Unai Emery's at the helm, I'd always back us to be in and around the top 5 and 6.
Can I ask you this, Dan? Right, so Villa fans, Newcastle fans, and Forest fans all think the system is rigged against them because their clubs aren't allowed to spend money they haven't earned because of the PSR rules. Do you think you should just be allowed to spend as much as you want, or is it a tweak to the rules that fans of these clubs are suggesting?
The rules are obviously there for a reason, and I understand. But if you look historically, when Manchester City, when Chelsea were taken over by new owners, they were allowed to spend what they wanted at that time. Yeah. So that enabled them to elevate themselves to the big beasts that they are today. Whereas Villa and Newcastle have been taken over in recent times, and they can't do that. So it doesn't seem fair. Like, as I understand more the rules are there.
If we work on the assumption it isn't fair, what would you like to happen to make it more fair?
I mean, you've already killed me by getting me on guest attendance, and then you've asked me a question that I don't have an answer for.
Okay.
At all. I don't know, Barry. I honestly don't know. But I think something does have to change because it is frustrating, and Villa have got really, really good owners, and they're not allowed to do what they want to do. I get that there should be caps and limits, but there's got to be a little bit more to be done. Villa have sold so many players as well, and we still can't buy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's PSR sorted. That's good, isn't it? Okay,
Thank you.
Let's get down to the serious business, everybody. And we have some actual lower league versus good stuff here. Okay, let me just write B and D. That's what I do, my score sheet. Okay, we begin, everybody, at Kenilworth Road. Luton Town 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. The opening game of the EFL season, and it was a terrible game of football, which is exactly how the lower leagues, the lower reaches,
settled by an own goal.
Settled by a looping-headed own goal by, I think, Ryan Johnson. The referee was Thomas Parsons of I don't know where, not on the sheet of paper. We don't know where he's from, but it shouldn't affect your attendance guessing. I'll throw to Barry first. Let Dan have some thinking time. How many were there at Kenilworth Road to see Luton win their first game in League One after back-to-back relegations?
9,854 people.
9,854. Dan Bardell, you are against the world number 2. Categorically world number 2 at Guess the Attendance. His guess is 9,854. What's yours?
Genuinely, I was going to go 9,857. That was the number that was in my head, so I'll just stick with that. That was genuinely what I was going to go for.
Wow. 11,735. And a mini showboat there from Dan.
Yeah,
he went
mini showboat.
Mini showboat. That's what he's known as, the mini showboat. So there we go. 1-0 to Dan Bardell. We go now to Bloomfield Road. Blackpool 2, Stevenage 3. In League 1, the referee, Matthew Corlett, not Matthew Corbett, the host of the City Show. A different person with a different name, just to clarify. But how many were there at Bloomfield Road to see Stevenage win their first game of the season in League 1? Dan?
I'm going to go 9,857 again.
9,857. Barry?
9,858.
10,090.
Oh, no.
It's one apiece. Barry 1, Dan Bardell 1. This is an exciting game.
It is.
The attendance is really good. You feel a bit more pressure, Barry. You lose to Justin, you don't care, but losing to Bardell...
No, I do care.
You do care today, don't you?
No, if I lose, this will be a humiliation.
This will be an absolute humiliation. It's the first time Barry has cared about anything on this show, I'd say, for 10 years. This is really... You've done this, Dan. This is exciting stuff. We go then to the Memorial Stadium in Bristol. Bristol Rovers 0, Harrogate Town 1. Good win for Harrogate on the opening day of the League 2 season. Carl Brook refereed the game, but how many were there at the Memorial Stadium? Barry?
6,220.
6,220. Dan Bardell?
7,127.
He's showboating. This is extraordinary stuff from Bardell. Glendenning under huge pressure, 9,245. It's 2-1 to Dan Bardell. He just needs one attendance now to go in off his backside, and Glendenning is humiliated. Not for the first time in talkSPORT history. Not for the second time. I can't do the number of times it's happened, but this is enormous. What this could do for the career of Dan Bardell. This could be the next stop, could be the breakfast show. Off to 5 Live he goes. Evenings, he's got that. This is wild times for Dan Bardell as we go to Kilmarnock, the BBSP Stadium Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 2, Livingston 2 in the Scottish Premiership. Kilmarnock were 2 up, but Livingston got it back. But it doesn't matter. Matthew McDermott of Scotland refereed the game. But Dan, how many were there at Kilmarnock?
5,762.
5,762. Barry?
5,763.
5,000.
Oh.
291. Oh no! It's a win for Dan Bardell in his first ever game of Guess the Attendance. We do have to complete it for the illegal betting markets in Southeast Asia. So let's go to now. How do you feel, Barry?
Very small. I'm at I was already at it. I'm constantly at a low ebb.
Yeah, we understand that. Your ebb is
even lower.
Default low ebb. Wow.
Yeah. It's subterranean ebb.
Subterranean ebb of Barry Glendenning. Finally then, the UEFA Champions League second qualifying round on Wednesday. Panathinaikos 1, Rangers 1. So Rangers go through. But how many were there at Panathinaikos? It is your guess, Barry. That plank of pride here now.
Zinath, 33,500.
33,500. This just to hammer home another nail in the Glendenning coffin for Bardell. The guess is 33,500. What is yours, Dan?
36,102.
31,916. So it is a 3-2 victory for Dan Bardell. Not the, I would have preferred a 4-1 at the time.
Yeah, me too.
I could feel another crescendo going there. But look, well played, Dan. 1 from 1. The only person with a 100% record and Guess the Attendance. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, when I got it this morning, this wasn't what I was expecting. So, I can carry on my day now knowing that I'm a big winner. This is huge, as you say. Probably top 5 moments of my career so far, I reckon. And I get to work with you both tomorrow when Rugby and Barry's
now,
face
Dan,
again, so that's great.
you got married earlier this year, and now you've just won your first game of attendance. Which was bigger? Which was, more of a life milestone?
Probably par. Probably about the same. About the same, I would say.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Barry. Sunday Sessions next.
Thanks.
Sport.